Hello everybody, my name is Justin Godsey. Welcome back to the Ultimate Football Forum. I'm here with a very special guest, Arizona State commit, quarterback Manny Wilkins. Manny, what's going on, my friend?
Nothing much, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh, not a problem at all. Now, for people who do not know Manny Wilkins, he's a quarterback who recently committed to the University of Arizona State, or Arizona State University. And Manny, we want to know, how did you first get introduced to the sport of football?
As a young kid, every kid wants to pretty much go out and play football on Pop Warner days. My uncle Chris Capanovis is a really big part of it. He was my coach from the get-go, from Mighty Mites all the way up till about 7th grade. So he was the guy who was teaching me how to play quarterback from the beginning, and kind of getting me to be in that stage where I want to use football as a way of life and not just as a sport.
Now, growing up, what quarterbacks really did you grow up admiring? During our age, we have like Tom Brady, the late great Steve McNair, Peyton Manning. What quarterbacks did you grow up admiring?
Growing up, of course, there's your Peyton Manning, and there's your big-time quarterbacks like Tom Brady and stuff like that. But I really think Kurt Warner is a really good example of how he plays, and Brett Favre. I'm not just a quarterback. I'm a quarterback who is who's good and does some special things, and I'm a gunslinger. My mentality is I'm gonna go out there and I'm not just gonna play quarterback, but I'm gonna do what I need to do to win ball games, and that's exactly what those guys do.
Now, let's take a road back to your youth football days. What was that overall like for you? Growing up, did you play any other position besides quarterback?
No. Actually, my sophomore year, when I moved back to California, when there was a quarterback already at being a senior and everything, I had to play receiver. So I did what I could do there, and I ended up starting as a sophomore varsity as a receiver. So, but pretty much my whole life I played quarterback.
Now, like you said, you really excelled at the quarterback position. You played quarterback for San Marion High School. Tell us about your overall experience, currently, as you're still playing high school football right now. How is your overall experience like right now?
It's great. There's not much more for a high school kid to ask for. I have a really good group of friends, and, I have a really good family as a football team. Every one of my teammates is really, doing what they can do so we can have a very successful season and remember it as, a family and not as just a football team. I think the biggest thing is, we're all very united and very together, and, it's not just something that's here for, our couple of years together, but it's something that'll last for a lifetime.
Excelling through at your stage, you're a dual threat quarterback. That being said, you got invited to the Elite 11. For people who do not know, the Elite 11 is the top quarterbacks around the nation getting invited to a special camp which hosts Trent Dilfer and Jordan Palmer, quarterbacks, and a former quarterback, Trent Dilfer, on his note. Tell us how you got invited to the Elite 11. What's that process like?
It's a very grueling process, I guess I could say. It takes a lot of hard work and a lot of training, with very good coaches. My quarterback guru is Roger Theater, and he helped me tremendously being the quarterback that I am today. I learned everything that I've ever learned. I've learned from him as a quarterback, pretty much. So, but I mean, it's a lot of training, and luckily as a sophomore, I was able to get invited to the camp and do pretty well at the camp my sophomore year. So they kind of have a lookout for me coming in as a junior, in the summer or whatever. So I didn't perform my best when I was in Dallas at the regional camp there, but I told myself, that wasn't myself, and I just needed to do what I could do and be myself when we came back out to California, and that's what I did. And ended up getting invited to participate.
I mentioned Trent Dilfer, Jordan Palmer was there, training with you. Sean White, I think, was another quarterback who won the MVP at the camp. What have you learned about yourself that you have not learned about yourself during the Elite 11 process?
It's more than football. Everything. I learned a lot about myself being, I can inspire people with, with my athletics and everything, but I can really inspire people with, my background and show them, there's more to it. I'm more than just a football player. I don't want to be somebody who's just, oh, that's Manny, the quarterback. I want to be somebody, that, anybody can walk up and talk to and have a conversation with, because I'm very grateful for, everything that has been given to me. But, I realize, there's a lot of stuff that you can't let go of, and that's your personality being the main thing. So I got to stay true to myself and be sure to tell everybody, who I really am.
I mentioned earlier on in the early parts of the interview that you were recruited to Arizona State, or you were committed to Arizona State. Now you had other offers such as Wyoming, Colorado State, Arizona. You even took a tour to Arizona. What really stood out from Arizona State to the other colleges?
It's just a very welcoming place. The coaching staff is my, one of, if not the best coaching staff in the nation. And it's not for everybody. It's for people who want to be a part of something that they feel is going to work. And in my eyes, this is going to work for me, and it's going to work for my future. They have the #1 broadcasting program in the country, pretty much, and that's what I want to major in. And Gene Boyd being the #1 athletic academic advisor in the nation, he gets awarded for these kind of things is huge on that part too. So, I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to be a part of something so special.
Now, when you look at the quarterbacks on the Arizona State roster, which features, Taylor Kelly, Mike Bercovici, and quarterback Michael Eubank, are all on the quarterbacks in Arizona State. Have you spoken to them? Have they give you any advice?
Yeah, I talk to PK pretty much every day. He's kind of like a big brother to me. And I talk to Bercovici a lot. Every now and then stay with Eubank. But it's I think it's really cool to be in contact with the guys who are going to be around pretty much every day come next year. So it's it's like I said, it's a dream come true to have such be so close with these guys when I'm not even there yet. So it's just waiting to happen.
Now, I mentioned you are a dual-threat quarterback, and Todd Graham runs a very fast-paced offense in Arizona State. How are you currently preparing yourself for Graham's system?
Well, right now it's just me focusing on my senior season, and when the time comes, that's when I need to get ready to focus on his offense, and that'll be it. But as of right now, it's just me trying to perform at my best ability that I can for my football team.
All right, for our final question, heading into Arizona State University next year, what are we to expect from you? What are we going to expect from Manny Wilkins going forward?
I'm just a leader. I'm a humble kid who I feel in my eyes has his head on his shoulders, and is not just looking to take all the joy for myself, but looking to spread it around. So, like I said, I can say it a million times. I'm so grateful for the opportunity that Arizona State and the staff has provided for me, and I can't wait to get started because I smell roses, and I think we got a special pink color.
All right, Manny, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate you, taking the time. You're still a high school kid going to Arizona State University next year. I'll catch you on the field at Arizona State, man. I'm an Arizona native.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, just one more thing to ask you. You're on Twitter. Where can we follow you?
Manny Wilkins 2. Manny Wilkins. It's Manny_Wilkins 11.
All right, everybody, make sure you go follow him. He's a great guy, as you can hear from the podcast. Manny, once again, I really appreciate the time you've taken out of your busy schedule to come on to the podcast, my friend. I hope you see you at Arizona State, man.